guys, Manchester United have done something. Manchester United have gone out there and signed a player. You should give them the biggest round of applause. They've got a deal done this summer. Out of my shock, they can do something. And it's not the Fletcher twins. They thought, you know what? The Fletcher twins, they might not be ready for the midfield with, Rice and Caicedo potentially going to Arsenal and Chelsea. So they've gone and signed 16-year-old sensation from Watford, Rabiot. What can I say, guys? Who needs Mbappe? Who needs Kane? Who needs Trent? Who needs Robertson? Who needs all of these players when we've just signed, the world's best player? This is the best signing United could have made all window. I'm not interested in Rice to Arsenal, Caicedo to Chelsea, Kane to Bayern, Kim Min-jae to Bayern, who've looked at our transfer list and stolen everyone. It doesn't matter now because we've signed someone. We've signed a 16-year-old from Watford. I mean, this is probably my most sarcastic video ever in terms of the title of the intro. And it's a good signing. He's actually a really good under 16s player and, fantastic signing. Him, the Fletcher boys. We've also got people like Shea Lacey in the academy. Like, we've got a solid academy. It is actually a really good signing. But it's just the fact that the signings we look closest to doing are 16-year-olds. Have you forgot we have a first team? Have you forgot we have a first team, United? Because we do have a first team. We do have a first team. And I actually think this guy has potential to be, take over from Luke Shaw in a couple of years. Man United are now set to sign English talented fullback Rabiot. And he is a good player. And I'm not going to act like I've watched him a lot, but I've spoken to people. Like I've been aware of him. I made a video on him a couple of months ago, more linked to him. Like, he is a very good player. Him, Shea Lacey, England's under 16s. There's a few great talents out there. But, this is my most sarcastic kind of intro title, whatever we call it, for the video. And I'm pure shocked. I'm shocked that United signed someone. I'm absolutely gassed. And I'm absolutely shocked that United have gone out there and finally signed someone. Well done, Merta. Well done, Arnold. You've signed someone. You've done your job. Oh, wait. No, you've signed a 16-year-old. Oh, wait, that wasn't you. Actually, we've still not signed anyone for the first team. We're still faffing about with this mount price. We still don't know who our new owners are. But, guys, doesn't matter. We've signed 16-year-old Rabiot. So, we'll have Arsenal announcing Havertz and Rice. We've got City announcing Kovacic and Guardiola. We'll have Chelsea announcing Caicedo, Liverpool announcing Barella on top of McAllister, and we'll announce Rabiot. What a well-run club we are. What a top well-run club we are. And this is I'm actually really happy with the signing. And I've nothing against the player. Really good for the academy. And the one thing I'm critical of United, I'm critical of United. The one thing United do well is the academy, in terms of we get good players into the academy. Garnacho, Alvaro Fernandez, Mark Girardo, players like Kobe Mainoo. But what else do we do bad? Soon as Sedanic bought 1 million, there you go to Utrecht. However, he has got a buyback clause and 40% sell-on clause. So the Sedanic ball transfer isn't as bad as I thought. The one thing we actually do well is recruitment for the under 16s. It's just a shame that we have clowns and multiple clowns, Arnold and Merta, employed by the bigger clowns, the Ratties, the Glazers, operating the first team. Because while I'm happy for the academy and I'm happy for this signing, and yay, United signed someone, whoop whoop, we're announced the Fletcher boys and Rabiot, and you can announce your Declan Rice, your Barella signings. I just think the first team exists. The first team exists. The takeover has been going on 8 months. What are we doing? Can we sign Caicedo, please? That's a good option. Onana, wait, you've agreed a contract with De Gea 2 months ago. You've not given it to him, but you're not going to do anything for Onana until you know what's happening with De Gea. If we go for Onana now, we can just say, we'll keep with De Gea. And we've got more leverage on Inter Milan. If Inter Milan know we've lost De Gea, they'll know we're desperate for a keeper. They'll put up the price for Onana. United, absolute fools. Day 141, no breaking news as well. Takeover seems dead. There was a story about the takeover, and I will get into that, actually. Interesting story came out today. Signing academy lads as well, good, but how many of them since LVG actually benefited our United first team? Literally like Garnacho. You could say Greenwood, but I've heard we paid 40 million for him. Yeah, oh yeah, this would be next. This would be next. You know, like this transfer window when I don't think United can get more embarrassing. Like as this transfer window goes on, I don't think United can get more embarrassing. I don't think United can do anything stupid. Then you hear, okay, we'll take 2 million for Eric Bailly. Okay, we'll take less than $1 million for Sudan Iqbal. The next thing you know, David Ornstein will be tweeting, done deal, United paid 40 million for Watford under-16 player. Like, I wouldn't even put it past United to pay something like 40 million for this guy. I wouldn't put it past us, 60 million Mount deal is still on. Am I alone thinking they're staying? Let me know, please, says Kevin. I mean, look, we'll have to talk about the takeover. There was an interesting story today, if I can find it quickly, on Ratcliffe. I don't know if I'm just Googling. I can't be asked to actually find. Wait, is it? I swear I read something today on Ratcliffe. Have I spelled Jim Ratcliffe wrong? Sir Jim. Nothing wants to come up. Why is nothing? Twitter's glitching me. How is there nothing? Is it? What's going on with Twitter? Over. Well, surely if I search Sir Jim, there's going to be something that comes up. But my Twitter's decided not to work. Great. We'll just leave that there. Because it was a story on Sir Jim. I'll have to find that in a minute. We've got news on Mason Mount. Chelsea ready to upset the bid. But regarding the takeover, there is the fear that they're staying. The longer and longer this goes on, the more and more I feel like they could be staying. The longer and longer it goes quieter, the more and more I feel like the Glazers could be staying. But what is the benefit of them staying? There's no benefit of them staying. They should accept the money. They should just put that in index funds, get bonds off that money, etc., etc. Why would the Glazers stay? It makes no logical and business sense for the Glazers to stay. But as we said in yesterday's live stream with Nuruddin, the Glazers aren't smart businessmen. It makes no sense for the Glazers to stay. Business-wise, it makes no sense for the Glazers to stay. But when have the Glazers ever done anything that makes sense? When have the Glazers ever done anything smart? Like, let's think about it. They could, I said this, like, I want Qatar because Qatar is the only way we're going to win trophies out of Sergio and Qatar and the Glazers and Challenge City. But Man United is a big enough club that isn't, it doesn't need to be state-run to actually win trophies. I'll tell you this now. Jim Ratcliffe won't win trophies because he doesn't have the money to run us, and there's a lot of investment that needs. We need someone that has the money to build a new stadium. We have someone who will clear the club's debt. But we're such a big club, we don't need to be state-run for success. And had the Glazers ran us seriously in their 18 years of ownership, employed proper people, invested and backed the manager, with the 1.4 billion we spent, we could have had just as much success as Manchester City. Just because we don't have state backing doesn't mean we could never compete with City. We could if we were run properly. But the Glazers aren't good businessmen. If the Glazers were good businessmen, they would have never given Woodward, Arnold, or Murr to this job. They would have hired the kind of people that Man City have hired, that Liverpool have hired, that, they've got proper recruitment director of football in, scouting networks. They'd be selling, players for a lot more, buying players for a lot less. And they'd save so much money. We'd have spent that 1.4 billion we spent post Sir Alex Ferguson so much better. We'd have spent that money so much better. We probably would have had so many more trophies. And the more success we have, the higher the stock goes, the happier the fans, the more money the club generates. Had the Glazers run this club well, we could be winning Premier League, Champions Leagues the last 10 years. It's possible, but they didn't run the club well, and they didn't get the right people to run the club. So they're not smart businessmen, because, the Glazers could make so much more money out of United if they were smart businessmen. They're not. That's the funny thing. They want to take as much money as they can out of United, but they're not even smart about it. If you want to make more money out of United, well, you've got to make us good again. And if you employ the right people, you can spend less to make us good again. We spent 1.4 billion post Sir Alex. I reckon we could have spent $1 billion with good people hired on the board and had a better team and could be like City with the treble. But we didn't do that because we're fools. We're idiots. So I think from every business sense, it makes sense for the Glazers to completely sell the club. It does not benefit them to completely sell the club. No, it benefits them to completely sell the club. It makes every sense for the Glazers to sell the club from a business perspective. It does not benefit the Glazers business-wise to stay at the club, money-wise to stay at the club. The Glazers care about money, the Glazers care about business. But as said, the Glazers are stupid people when it comes to business. They aren't good businessmen. So the longer this goes on, the more and more I worry, could they stay? Could they be waiting for Sixth Street, the Elliott Group, etc., etc.? But then I go, well, it makes no logical sense on a business spectrum for them to stay. The money they're going to get now, they can put in bonds, index funds, make so much more money out of that money, so that if the club does reach 10 billion instead of 6 billion in 10 years' time, they'd have made that money anyway. you know, but the Glazers are so stupid that you just don't know what they're thinking, to be honest. You don't know what they're thinking. But I don't think they will stay. I don't think they will stay. It's very likely they will go. I don't think. The thing is, this is the thing. I don't think you could go this far with Sir Jim, this far with Sheikh Yassim, to then stay at the club, knowing there's going to be a mass load of protests. However, you know, that is the Glazers. That is the Glazers. They are those kind of people that would muck around for 9 months, lead on Sir Jim, lead on Qatar, and stay at the club. That is the thing. Now, Qatar ain't stupid. Qatar wouldn't go in and buy United if they didn't think the Glazers were generally wanting to sell. But the Glazers are liars. That's the thing. We could have at least paid off the debt off and got a new stadium instead of blowing up the debt and paying crazy dividends. Exactly, billion out dividends. Guys, do smash that like button. Let's go for 200 likes. Man United have signed their first summer signing. Man United have finally signed a player this summer, so you've got to smash the like button for that. You know, it doesn't matter that, you know, Arsenal will be getting Rice and Chelsea will be getting Caicedo, because we've got a 16-year-old from Watford. They cannot compete with us. Smash the like for our first signing, people, as well. Apparently, the takeover will be announced after AGM this week. Some girl was saying on Twitter the takeover was going to be announced today and it was going to be Qatar. Some other people saying it's going to be announced today, but they got no sources. People know if they tweet something about Qatar and act like they got sources, people believe it. I tell you what, you can't. There's so many ITK accounts. Ross Harwood on Twitter, the guy was like, yeah, De Jong's done. Yeah, Timber to United's done. My sources have told me De Jong's done. Timber's done. Yeah, De Jong and Timber ain't United players, mate. It'll be tweeting, yeah, my sources have told me Qatar's done. And then it gets like 100,000 views, 2,000 likes. I'm like, people believe this guy. There's so much fake news as well. De Jong might be forced out. I love how I'm just absolutely screaming that. Barcelona need to sell players in addition to well-known names. Frankie's option should also not be ruled out. I'm not gonna lie, I still dream. Honestly, I've got to get this story up. Sorry, Alice is. You know I'm a bit of a Frankie de Jong fan. You know I'm a bit of a Frankie de Jong fan, and I hate it. I can't bring him up. I've just tweeted this. I still dream about signing him. Signing, that's right. But it was said here, Barcelona need to sell players in addition to well-known names. Frankie's option should not be ruled out in the event that special offer arrives. Just coming out from Barcelona sources. I love how this is not going to happen. This isn't. We're not signing De Jong. We're not signing De Jong. I mean, please, drop Mason Mount and sign De Jong. United. I love Caicedo, but if we can get Frankie De Jong, Alice does not care. If we can get Frankie de Jong, it's not happening. I need to stop dreaming about this. I still dream that we're going to sign De Jong, but it's not going to happen. The story's breaking. Barcelona might need to sell De Jong. I tell you what, Mount, you can come on a free, because if De Jong's available, Ten Hag. I'm sorry, if De Jong, I tell you this now, this is not going to happen. But if De Jong sat there, rung Eric Ten Hag, because apparently Eric Ten Hag texted them all summer, and De Jong probably had him blocked. You know, come to United. Probably. Let's say De Jong unblocks Ten Hag. He's not actually got Ten Hag blocked, just to clarify. But let's say De Jong rings up Ten Hag. Hi, Eric. Barca are forcing me out. You're in the Champions League. I made it clear how much I loved the Champions League last summer. So can I come to United? Ten Hag would be like, Murta, walk away from Mason Mount. Go sign me Frankie de Jong. That's what would happen. But what are the chances of De Jong ringing up Ten Hag and saying he'd want to come to United? I think particularly low, considering Barcelona tried to force him out all of last summer, actually agreed to sell him to us, and we couldn't agree personal terms with him. If De Jong wouldn't go to us last summer when Barcelona were forcing him out, don't think he's going to come to us this summer. But what did De Jong say last summer? Champions League. We were thinking, De Jong, you might as well go and marry the bloody Champions League just to get knocked out into the Europa League, just to get knocked out by us in Europa League. But you were going, Champions League. Oh, get this done, United. Get this done, United. But it's not going to happen. He won't leave Barca. Issue with Mount and Kane on freeze. They could very much choose elsewhere. I think Mount would want to. I think Mount and Kane, though, they could choose elsewhere. I think Mount's made it very clear it's United and only United, and he likes Ten Hag. And I think Kane would want to stay in the Premier League, break the goal record. City's got to compete with Haaland. Potentially he goes to Liverpool on a 3. But they have got Nunes. Chelsea, I don't think he'd go to. Arsenal's the direct rival. I don't think he'd go to. So I do still think United have a good position for Kane and Mount if available on the free. But yeah, it's not guaranteed. For those saying Caicedo, it ain't happening as United no longer want him. Well, Ben Jacobs said United no longer want him, but Simon Stone is saying that United do want him. I think if United can't get Mount, they'd go for Caicedo. But I think the Caicedo interest is to just lower the price of Mount, if in all honesty as well. But yeah, if Frankie de Jong doesn't want to be here, don't want him, no repeat Di Maria, exactly. I still dream about him, but let's be honest. You know what? Do you know what would be brilliant? If the takeover was sorted and it was Qatar, that would be absolutely brilliant. But let's say we wake up tomorrow and Romano goes, breaking, or Ornstein goes, breaking, De Jong's open to joining United. He's had contact with Ten Hag. Alice, I would be, oh, my head would be like, oh my God. You know, De Jong, Moises Caicedo, that is me. They are the guys. Like, we won't get De Jong. Caicedo will probably go to Chelsea and we'll end up with Mason Mount. But De Jong has a big place in my heart. I spoke about, honestly, people would think I'm obsessed with De Jong. I had to speak about him every single day for 4 months last summer. It took me so long to get over Frankie de Jong. Every single day for 4 months last summer, I'm talking about de Jong. Finally, I get over him. Guess what? The saga could be back again, but it's not happening. It's not going to happen. But if it is going to happen, there'll be a lot of videos as well. Sheikh Yassin to be announced soon. I very much hope. 190 likes. Do smash the like button as well. Kane will cost 100 million for United, 80 million for Bayern as well. A year is a long time. What if we end up in Europa again? Good point. And I think with the way everyone else is investing and we don't seem to be investing, apart from on our fantastic first signing of the summer, Harry Amas, fantastic first signing. That is up there with Rice and Caicedo, obviously. But in fact, everyone else is investing and we're not really investing smartly. It does make me worry we could miss out on Champions League. But if the Premier League clubs do well in the Champions League, 5th place is all we need. Ownership makes a big difference. It does. No idea why Ten Hag's obsessed with average Mount, to be honest. Lots of good players out there for good money. I like Mount, and if that's what Ten Hag wants, I back Ten Hag on that, but I'm with you. 55 million pounds for a guy with 1 year left on his contract says to me, not worth it. Mount for 40 million, easy, but I'd rather have Lavia, which is a different profile. I'd rather have Caicedo. I'd rather have Rice. I'd rather have de Jong. I'd rather have Barella. I think, if we don't have the money for another midfielder on top of Mount, why don't we go for someone like Enzo Lafille or Orkun Koku, and then we go for a defensive signing? Why aren't we looking at Maxim Kakare? Leon need to raise funds. Barella, Liverpool looking at that. We've lost out on McAllister. There's a lot of things to do. Well, actually, we didn't lose out on McAllister. We decided we wanted Mounts. It was said by Scott Saunders that Chelsea have dropped the asking price for Mount from 65 million to 60 million. We'd still be stupid to pay 60 million for Mount, who's begging to come with 1 year from his contract. United, and the reason I have a big problem with this is, yes, Chelsea have lowered the asking price of Mount by 5 million, but we said that's 55 million we walk away. We said to Chelsea, 55 million we walk away. Yeah? So walk away. Because other teams will say, you see United say, well, walk away if you don't accept this bid. And then they'll know they just lower the price, but still make it higher than United bid and they'll get something done. You've got to walk away. You can't negotiate. You can't compromise. They want a 65. We bid a 55. Let's accept the 60. We said we walk away after 55 and pursue other options to start doing that. Then they'll accept that bid and we'll get them for 55 million. And that's 5 million saved, which, don't know where that will go. Probably fund the Glazers' trip to London and back as well. But yeah, articles coming out about Sir Jim's big plan for the club as well. Not interested in really giving Sir Jim PR. Don't trust him. English media working on the Sir Jim PR. Apparently Newcastle have opened concrete talks to sign Livramento for 12 million, which was an interesting one as well. I think Newcastle could be doing some very interesting business this summer as well. But Southampton want 25 million for Livramento, and they're also looking at Maddison. They've also got Tonali done. Seems that they're doing some smart business there, Newcastle, and they're one to watch out for. But we have a dream, and that dream is called Frankie, and it ends with de Jong. What about sales? So obviously I did a video yesterday on the sales of United as well, and we'll get into it as well. Clickbait channel. United haven't signed anyone. The title says we have signed someone. We've signed Harry Amas, the best player the Premier is ever going to see. You know, there's a few laughy emojis at the end of the title, so kind of hint at who we signed. Caicedo's age, potential, and versatility is basically 2 signings in one. Baffling if we don't pursue that. 100%. 100%. I don't get it. I don't get why Caicedo isn't a big priority. I really don't. I think Caicedo, United should make like their #1 priority. I honestly do. I think we should be putting Caicedo right at the top there as United priority. And the fact that he's nowhere near United priority or nowhere near, well, he's on the list and he's second option to Mount. But the fact that Mount's the priority and not Caicedo baffles me, because we need someone that's good on the ball. We need someone to help us defensively, someone with potential. For me, Caicedo is the profile we need way more than Mason Mount, and it completely shocks me that we seem to be going all in for Mason Mount and not Caicedo as well. Could Man United do swap deals? Well, that's what we're going to get into, actually, because if I talk about Frankie de Jong, we're going to fall in love again with the idea of nothing happening. But there was a story on Rice. I can find it. I have a story on Rice. Here we go. By James Ducker in my notes here. I'm scrolling through my notes. I'll tell you what, my notes is just Mount this, Mount that, Mount this, Mount that, a bit of Caicedo here and there. But we found the Rice news, a bit of Rabiot news as well, a bit of Onana news. We're going to get to the Onana news after this. But it was said Manchester United are ready to offer Harry Maguire and/or Scott McTominay with cash for Declan Rice, but City and Arsenal are favourites in this matter. City and Arsenal are favourites in the matter because they're actually serious about spending the money for Declan Rice and making a bid. United are monitoring and watching the Declan Rice situation, have no plan of doing anything, but would like to get Rice on the cheap. Ten Hag is pushing the ball to try and do something for Rice, but Man United will not have the funds to sign Rice. Man United cannot compete with Man City and Arsenal to sign Rice because they're not that serious about signing Rice. And that although they've got Scott McTominay to offer, I doubt this deal will happen. But if Mount seriously walks away, potentially they try it. I want us to sign Declan Rice. I like Declan Rice, but we will be monitoring, watching, admiring FC. You know, potentially we could do something here, and it would be smart to offer McTominay. But do I think we'll do something? Probably not. Probably not, to be honest, as well. Mount is good on the ball and work off the ball. United get Mount and Caicedo. You know what? Mount and Caicedo would be fantastic. I saw a tweet actually, and it was, I think it was by. I liked it. I don't know who said it. I liked something I saw earlier. Let me find it. I always like things if I'm going to bring them up in a video. I just can't. I saw someone putting a really smart tweet. Maybe I didn't like it. Was this? I think it was there. I think this guy said something interesting. Someone said something about what we should potentially be looking to do. Yeah, here, this was interesting. And I think this is a good point. It was said, Costa or Onana, because we've lost out on Timber, Kim and Jay, Todibo in Akio. That is the, not said that right, but he's at Sporting Lisbon, isn't he? Caicedo, Rice, Lavia, Mount, Højlund, Kane, Ramos. That is what United should be doing. Ten Hag wants Mount, so you get Mount. But on top of Mount, you need one of these profiles. Lavia would be the most realistic, but he's actually linked to Liverpool now. Then you need a goalkeeper, and then you need a striker. Højlund is the most. Højlund, let's be realistic. Højlund and Mount is 100 million. Lavia is 40 million, that's 140 million. Onana is 45 million, that's 185 million. Maybe that could take it to about 210, 220 million net spend. If you know one of each of these. You make maybe 57, you make 70 million out, 100 million net spend, 5 signings. That is potentially what United should be looking at. But we don't think like that. And I think, 5 signings would be really good from United. Takeover news. Apparently there's a story that came out today that from L'Equipe, was it? L'Equipe, whatever it's called. That Sir Jim is in the lead, but then, and really good Nice outlet said that Sir Jim feels the Qatar's in the lead. So it's so, I think with the takeover news, you get told one thing one day and another thing the other day as well. Reports are saying that we've now made an offer for Rabiot, which is considering that Chelsea are now asking for 60 million per round rather than 65. United have made an offer for Rabiot as well. Let me get that up actually, because it was said that, because there was a report that came out today saying Rabiot very much set to stay at Juventus, But then the report that, there was a report last night from The Athletic that United are really in for Rabiot. United are interested in Rabiot. And then this morning it came out from, I can't remember who, maybe Dimartio or someone, that Rabiot's about to sign a new deal at Juventus. But then it comes out tonight, this afternoon again, that United want Rabiot. Juventus are getting frustrated because Rabiot won't put pen to paper on a new deal with Juventus and likes the fact that United are in the Champions League and Juventus are not. There was a few interesting stories coming out that, United could be taking the lead in this Rabiot race, United this, United that. So Rabiot is one to keep an eye on. It's a 3 signing. United, anything, any reason not to spend, that's it. Oh, here come the De Jong rumours. I knew it. I said as soon as that article came out that Barcelona need to sell players, guess what? Journalists are tweeting that United like De Jong. Can you believe that? Because I can. We're not going to get De Jong. Watch this. I tell you what. We could have a whole saga of De Jong rumours in the next few days. We could have a whole saga of De Jong rumours. Frankie De Jong is part of the targets that Erik ten Hag has identified to strengthen his squad. Frankie De Jong, right now, if Ten Hag could sign, if Frankie De Jong got on the phone right now to Erik ten Hag and said, I want to come to Man United, please sign me, Barcelona will sell me, Mount, F off, Ten Hag would say. And Ten Hag's made Mount his number 1 priority. He'd say, Mount, F off, we'll get you on a free. He'd say, Kane, I like you, but busy. Hoyland, just stay waiting there, we'll come later. Onana, just stay. You tell everyone else to F off. And he would go, Frankie, John Murta, Richard Arnold, go get me De Jong. He would 100%. But the chances of Frankie De Jong ringing up Ten Hag saying, I want to come to United, that's the same chances of Man City not cheating next season or lying in the FFP report. Very unlikely. So as much as I'd like it to happen, I know we're going to be linked to De Jong. Not confident on that as well. Not confident. Did Rabiot not agree with Juventus? Well, some reports are saying Rabiot agreed with Juventus and other reports are saying he hasn't. It's like this takeover. One day we get told Jim's in the lead. The next day we get told Qatar's in the lead. The next day we get told the Glazers might stay. The next day we get told a decision will happen this week. And then we're told the decision won't happen for months. Juventus, in this Rabiot story, 1 minute United about to sign him, next minute he's staying at Juventus. The next minute United are interested. The next minute he's staying at Juventus. What? The media is so conflicting. The Onana story is conflicting. A report and from a report from Italy has come out today saying that Andre Onana to Man United will be completed. Like a general report coming out from Italy saying, Andre Onana to United could be completed, and it's like, well, we know that's not the case. People, and it's annoying because obviously I make videos on United every single day, and I cover the news. I'll talk about what's said on Onana and what's said on De Jong and what's said on this player and what's said on that player. But there's so much news that comes out, and it's like, yeah, United are going to sign this player. Yeah, United about to sign Rabiot, and it's like, well, this is what the news is saying, but this is United. Our name gets used a lot, and when do United do stuff quick? With Rabiot, we just have to see, because United want him. We're in the Champions League, and he hasn't put pen to paper at Juventus. But some sources saying no, he's going to sign for Juventus. Other sources saying no, watch United. It's like this takeover, but wouldn't take 8 months, the Rabiot saga, because he's literally out of contract in a couple of days as well. So I don't know if Rabiot's staying or Rabiot's coming. It's very much an interesting story as well. Guys, please do smash that like button, and of course subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video and all of that as well. Mirror probably looking for some clicks. It's look, they're not wrong, the Mirror. Of course Ten Hag would like De Jong. Of course De Jong is a target for Ten Hag. But I'm sure Mbappe would be a target for United. That doesn't mean we're going to get Mbappe. There's something, there we have so many targets or so many players. Ten Hag probably would say to the board, sign me Diogo Costa, Mbappe, Kim Min-jae, Frankie De Jong, Mason Mount, boom. Yeah, let's say Ten Hag goes to the board and says that. Realistically, you get Mount and that's it. Maybe Costa. Do you know what I mean? Like, we'll have targets. I'm sure this report is true. We've got targets and De Jong as a target. But just because the player's a target doesn't mean we're going to sign them. We've had about 169 targets this summer. Are we going to sign 169 players? No. And when we've generally been linked to over 100 people. I think which YouTuber is it that's done a board? I think it's United People's TV. I think it's them who they've written up a board of every single player Man United have been linked to this summer. Every single player. They're probably adding 3-4 names every. And I tell you what, I reckon by the end of the summer there will be over 200 names on that list because Man United are linked to everyone. How are we going to get some clicks? Let's say United are interested in this player. How are we going to get people to click our story? Let's say United are going to interest in this player. I mean, De Jong is elite. I would dream of De Jong. Absolutely dream of De Jong. How would you feel if we signed De Jong? I'd love it. It'd be, but the obsession is real. I would take De Jong, Mount Rabiot with McTominay and Fred leaving. We're talking dreamland here, Nick, but I would take that as well. Do you know what? He'll go to City. I will cry if De Jong goes to City. I will cry. But City need a midfielder to replace Gundogan. We've got to hope City get Rice. City, Gundogan's gone to Barca. What City go to De Jong? All I'm saying is Man City can't get De Jong. The De Jong rumours are back. This is the thing. We were linked to De Jong. We were linked to Timber. Timber goes to Arsenal. De Jong goes to City. You know what? I wouldn't even be shocked if De Jong went to City, and that scares me. That scares me. I'm predicting United will not finish top 4. We'll have to wait and see. I'll judge it at the end of the transfer window as well. Tomorrow will be a protest for the Glazer family takeover. Just keep protesting. You know what? If I was a billionaire, if I was a big fat billionaire, so the Glazers of Florida, right? Miami. I think they're like Miami. I've actually got friends going to Miami tomorrow, actually. I should get them to bring a green and gold banner and protest. But the Glazers of Florida, yeah? If I was a billionaire, I would literally pay 2,000 United fans, go fly to Florida, go protest outside the Glazers' house. Because as we said, the Glazers are just sitting there in Florida. Oh, apparently there was a protest outside the megastore. Rolling my money. Let's take out some dividends. I reckon if we did a protest outside the Glazers' house in Florida, and I know America's a bit dodgy and we don't want people getting shot, but I do think it could have a big impact. It could have a big impact. But yeah. I could see De Jong going to Bayern or Man City. Yeah, same. You shouldn't be sarcastic about a 16-year-old signing, and I know the sarcasm was towards the board. Well, I've actually said I was being sarcastic towards United signing a 16-year-old, but I actually said right at the start of the video, this is a really talented guy. This is a really good signing for the academy. I was just making a joke that we haven't signed a first-team player, because I've always said I think he's a good player. I like Mason Mount. We need to forget about De Jong and focus on more realistic targets. You know what? We should just go F Mount, F the De Jong saga. I ain't dealing with it. Caicedo, please. That's what, I love De Jong, but if I'm United, I focus on Caicedo because De Jong is the real deal. Maybe not the best midfielder in the world, but he's the real deal. But realistically, we should just focus on Caicedo. If we get De Jong, I'll be a very happy girl though. We're on the Onana transfer. Let's actually get into the Onana news. The Onana news is particularly interesting. Let me find it. Andre Onana. Where is it? Here it is. Now, I take this story with a big pinch of salt. Big pinch of salt because a lot of people lie about United, use our name for clicks. We're United. But it was said, breaking. Andre Onana is one step away from joining Manchester United for 50 million euros plus bonuses. That's interesting because no one reliable has even said we put in a bid. So how can he be one step away from joining for 50 million euros if we've not put in a bid? Maybe we put in a secret bid. Maybe the source knows something that no one else knows. Not Romano, not Ornstein, not any of the United journalists. But I would take that with a big pinch of salt. What's the source like? I'm just going to check how many followers it has. It does have 450k followers. That doesn't mean it's reliable. But I take this with a big pinch of salt because he's saying it's going to be 50 million euros. But as far as I'm aware, and this came out at 1 o'clock today, so maybe if rumours saying we put in a bid come out a few hours later, I'll believe it. But I mean, look, this is the thing. We've got told with Kim and Jay is one step away from joining United. He's about to accept a contract to join United. We're now getting told the same with Onana. I mean, look, United aren't going to act on the goalkeeper situation until De Gea's gone, which I think is silly because De Gea's our leverage to lower the price of Onana. But, United don't think like that. So I would take that story with a massive, massive pinch of salt as well. Guys, keep smashing the like button and subscribe down below if you're new. Nick says, I think Rabiot will stay at Juventus if he gets more game time. If he doesn't get it, he'll come to United. I don't know. I feel like Rabiot is the kind of guy that would go to United for Champions League and money, though. I think he's one of those. I stand by my prediction. Danny Drinkwater for 70 million and Jamie Vardy for his last big contract. Yeah, as well. Yeah, I mean, look, that wouldn't put that past United. 70 million on Danny Drinkwater. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks we're going to sign someone really stupid and spend some really silly money this summer. But then there's another part of me that feels like we're not going to sign anyone and we're not going to spend any money. Rice will select Pep over Arteta, I reckon. You know what? If Frankie de Jong is on the market, I want Man City to get bloody Rice, because I do not want to see Frankie de Jong in a Man City shirt. That would break my heart. They live in Tampa. Where is Tampa? Is that like Miami? Tampa, Florida. I don't know America. Is that where is that? I'm actually Googling where Tampa is. Completely unrelated to Man United. Tampa. Oh, no, it's not near Miami. It is the other side. It's the other side. Right, guys, we need to make me an absolute billionaire. We'll fly everyone out to Tampa to annoy the Glazers if they don't go. Hang on a sec, what's going on? We got a signing, was Alice trolling? We actually did sign someone, but it was a bit of a sarcastic video, hence the laugh emojis in the thumbnail. We did sign someone, it was a 16-year-old. But it's a signing. Gotta be positive. People saying, Alice, you're being too negative. Give Arnold a couple of people said this to me actually. Alice, you're being too negative. Stop overreacting. Give Arnold and Murta time. They'll do the right thing. Put your trust in Murta and Arnold. Put my trust in Murta and Arnold. What have they done for me to put my trust in them? You know, why aren't we signing people early? Why are we faffing about with Mason Mount? You know, I'm a bit sarcastic, but I see City winning the treble, and I see us not acting. You know, City have won the treble. If you care about United, if you're serious about United, you say this cannot happen again. How have we let them win the treble? We need to strengthen. We need to strengthen now. You act serious. I don't see this board acting serious. Italy has the worst PR stunt here. Italian media just lie about Manchester United. Caicedo and Mount, please. That would be quite nice. We're funding the money for Chelsea to get Caicedo. Unfortunately, we are. Edward would said it way back. We do not need to win trophies to sell shirts. Says it all really. I know. Just it says everything. We don't need to win trophies to sell shirts. Well, that is you saying your only motivation is to sell shirts. You've basically confirmed that you are business people that don't care about the club. I would love signing Onana. Onana would be a fantastic signing, but the sources are not reliable. Onana uses a joke. De Gea signing a new contract. Dean Henderson is in limbo. Why are we buying a goalie when we have more pressing issues? I do get why we need a goalie, because Ten Hag wants him. It's the way Ten Hag wants to play. But let's be honest. The Onana news is a bit clickbait. I think it is. Let me make sure no other news has come out. I'm not dealing with Frankie de Jong news. I'm not dealing with Frankie de Jong news, because you know how I feel about de Jong. What's it going to do? I was going to get this up. This is it. We'll talk about the outs. I spoke about this in my video earlier, but you reminded me. He's actually said that United will have set 15 million plus add-ons for Dean Henderson. How criminal is that? 15 million plus add-ons for Dean Henderson makes me absolutely laugh. Yeah. 29th of June, officially 18 years of Glazers. You know what would be fantastic? If on the 29th of June, they can just announce Qatar. You know, on your anniversary, why don't you announce Qatar? Make it sentimental, because I feel like I'm going to be sitting here in September. I tell you what, this would be me. It'll be nearly Christmas time. It'll be winter. Right, guys? You know, Boxing Day game. Got some news on Qatar. Qatar are putting another bid here, but the Glazers want this. I feel like I'm going to be talking about Qatar and Sir Jim and the takeover in December. I feel like that. I worry that I'm just going to be losing my mind, because 4 months talking about de Jong doesn't seem so bad at the moment. The de Jong getting sucked back into that de Jong saga does not seem so bad, because this takeover saga, 8 months, people. 8 months. Bring me the De Jong saga back. This is the perfect time to be linked to De Jong. Bring me the De Jong saga back, because this takeover, my head. But I was looking at the news who was selling. Sancho 45 million. If Chelsea can get 65 million for Kai Havertz, we can get 60 million for Sancho. You know, I would have taken about 50 million for Sancho, but looking at how much Kai Havertz went for, we can get 60 million for Sancho. Maguire, we'd be lucky to get 40 million. I'd accept 30. McTominay, I'd accept 30. Martial, we're not getting 25 million for someone with 1 year left on his contract, injury prone. I'd take 15 for Martial. Henderson, I'd be taking 30, 25 million plus add-ons to 30, but we're upset 15 because we're stupid. Van der Beek, I would accept 15 to 20. Fred, I would accept about 20. But, you know, watch United sell. United would probably accept 40 million for Sancho. United would probably accept 20 million for Maguire, 20 million for McTominay, get 5 million for Martial, get about 15 million for Henderson, about 5 million for Van der Beek, and about 10 million for Fred. You know, I don't trust United to get that kind of money for any of these players. Caicedo will join United if we are serious about signing him. He was a childhood Man United fan and once said his dream was to play for Man United. I agree. If United seriously went in for Caicedo, if United was serious about signing Moises Caicedo, we get him. But we won't. We won't. So, yeah. Bruno and Frankie. Bruno, Frankie, Casemiro. That would be a midfield. Shares have plummeted. Well, that's bad. The lower the shares, the more like the Glazers stay, the more like Sergio. And the higher the shares, Qatari. Do you know what I mean? How did Mert and Arnold do without the looming takeover last summer? They're crap with overpaying and delays. Exactly. You know, people saying, you know, Mert and Arnold will do their stuff. They were crap without the takeover. They're going to be even crapper with the takeover as well. Yeah, there's a lot of fake news going out as well. Look, I don't know what's going on with Rabiot. Some sources say he's going to go to United. Some sources say he's going to sign at Juventus. The Italian media is incredibly misleading. United like Onana, they're not going to do anything till July. United like Højlund, they'll leave that to later on because they know that they've got a strong chance of getting Højlund because he's desperate to come. United's focus now is on Mason Mount, 1 deal at a time, FC. We can't do more than 1 deal at a time. United will be focusing on Mason Mount right now. They might have a look at De Jong. They might have a look at Caicedo. I think they will get Mason Mount. Then United will go and move on for Onana. Then United will go and move on for Højlund. That will be United. And then probably a last-minute panic in August, maybe signing another midfielder. That's what I predict our summer to look like. What I hope our summer looks like is Caicedo, Frankie de Jong, Onana, Harry Kane. I mean, you know, hijacking Timber at the last minute, but it's not going to happen as well. I think it will be Mason Mount as well. We did sign a 16-year-old, though. We have signed a player. First deal done. First deal completed. 16-year-old baby. What can I say? Better than Rice, better than Havertz, better than Caicedo. He's a left back, but he's going to be the best in the world. So we're back. We're back our signings, eh? We're back our signings. Take us seriously. We've signed 16-year-old sensation. And the 16-year-old we signed is actually really good. Like, if you watch the England 16, him, Shia Lacey, they are like the standout players. Shia Lacey. So we have actually signed some really good academy players. Going to get the Fletcher boys in. Academy's doing well. The academy's doing well. You know, we're signing academy players before first team players. Tell me now. Get me the academy team to sort out the first team at this rate. Get me the academy team as well. It's becoming like our usual transfer BS. Can only believe the takeover news when it comes official. Yeah. You know what's annoying is there's a lot of fake accounts on this takeover. There's a lot of fake accounts. I tell you this now. Just wait for Mike Keegan to tweet. Don't believe anything until Mike Keegan tweets it. Mike Keegan, David Ornstein, and Fabrizio Romano, follow them. If they break a story about the takeover, you know it's real. But how many times have I been on Twitter in the last 2 weeks and someone said, my sources have told me it's a done deal with Qatar. My sources have told me Qatar's being announced tomorrow. In the last month, I've seen about 30 different people claiming they've got sources and it's going to be Qatar and it's going to be announced this week. It's not been announced this week. It wasn't announced last week. It wasn't announced the week before. Lots of people are lying about this Qatar takeover. And I just say, I'm not saying that, you know, everything that Mike Keegan, David Ornstein, and Romano gets told is true. But Mike Keegan, David Ornstein, and Romano will only say something if it comes from a source. And at least you know they have a source. Because there's a lot of people lying about this takeover. And, you know, unfortunately, people do that as well. Sancho's on massive wages, so most of our players, which, yeah, that obviously affects our chances of reselling them. But Chelsea players are on also quite high wages as well. Why does Maguire want to stay here and find some joker. Honestly, I don't know why Maguire's taking a sting at United. Your 5th choice centre back, but Maguire knows he couldn't play. He could play 2 minutes for United all season, and Southgate will be starting him in the Euros. So Maguire's like, why should I cut my wages? I'm going to play in the Euros anyway. That's the thing as well. Pregnancies have been started and completed faster than the United Kingdom. That's the mad thing. We're approaching the 9-month stage where someone could have got pregnant and be giving birth right now. When Man United announced the takeover, someone could have found out they were pregnant and they could be giving birth right now, and they still won't know who the United owners are. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. You're absolutely spot on there. It's crazy. Tom Heaton is our future. Imagine. I actually don't mind Tom Heaton as a 3rd choice keeper. Frankie de Jong is like a UFO. You see them, but it's never confirmed real. Yeah. Oh, I tell you what. What's he called? Is it Gerard Romero? Gerard Romero. This guy is the clickbaiter. This guy clickbaited me all of last summer because he actually has sources at Barcelona, but he milks every story for clickbait it for as many views as possible. He'll say something is happening with De Jong to United. Something is happening with De Jong to United every day. I tell you what, if Gerard Romero gets talking about De Jong to United, my head, because he was saying, I'm 95% sure De Jong will be a United player from what I've been told. I'm 95% sure. And I'm going, look, this is a good source. This is a good Barca source. But I tell you what, Italian media is awful because they're telling us Onana and Kim Min-jae is done. They're not. Spanish media, not Spanish media, Barcelona media. Barcelona media is like United media on steroids. You know how we brief everyone's stories and we do PR on this? Barcelona media team is like United media on steroids. Honestly, you don't want to be linked to a Barcelona player because it's like that. Oh. But look at the fees and the clubs they end up. I'd say our academy is definitely well behind City and Chelsea. Yeah, it is now, to be honest. The only advantage we have with City and Chelsea is our first team's normally so depleted, not enough depth, that we have more opportunities to give academy players a chance, which isn't really a good thing when you deep it. It's harder for a City player to break into the academy. But also, we did win the treble with lots of academy stars, and we don't break FFP rules or do dodgy deals with Saudi Arabia. So at least we don't cheat, unlike the Saudis and Chelsea. But yeah, I'm just going to check there's no more news before I end the live stream. So get any last questions in. Any questions about transfers, put them in the chat. I'll tell you what we know so far on these transfers. But I'd say watch the Mason Mount space. Frankie de Jong will be linked to him a lot. I don't see it happening. Caicedo, there's a chance there. Lavia looks to go to Liverpool. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Rice, that's not happening. Watch Mason Mount. Then watch Onana, then watch Højlund, and then we have to wait and see what United do as well. But watch the Frankie de Jong saga come back and not be fun. But I'll take the de Jong saga again over this takeover saga. This takeover has made my head go. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching today's video. Please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below. Share the video. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.